everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to go over a quote that was shared to me by a subscriber, Teresa Washington. So if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video. If you end up liking it, hit the notification bell and make sure to leave your comments. The picture behind me, this is actually a photo that I took. I do photography, like not professionally, I'm an amateur, but like, you know, when you go to those websites, like Shutterstock, Big Stock, Dreams Time, places like that, Adobe Stock. Like I'm like one of those people that add photos to that and sell my photography, like licenses to use it and stuff like that. So this is a photo that I took last winter, kind of by Coldwater, Kansas. It's just like really pretty out that way. And I just came across this this like abandoned house right here, and it was just kind of amazing. So anyway, here's the quote. This is from George Q. Cannon, and I know that most of you have probably already heard this, but I want you to listen to this and just really internalize it, okay? He says, "The greatest events that have been spoken of by all the holy prophets will come along so naturally as the consequences of certain causes that unless our eyes are enlightened by the Spirit of God and the Spirit of revelation rests upon us, we will fail to see that these are the events predicted by the holy prophets." Okay. I'm sharing this because I feel like there are so many people that think that when the signs happen, they're just going to be so obvious. They're going to be like, you know, the top news story. You know, you're going to turn on the news, all the news stations are going to be talking about whatever the particular sign is, and it's going to be just like really obvious. And I don't think that's the case. I don't. She was responding to the video I did about all the dead fish that have been showing up over the last few years. You know, I can't say for sure, but I do think that probably has to do with that second angel sounding his trump and sea life dying. You know, you have all these anomalous just deaths. Some of them, the cause is known, you know, like they know with some of them it's because of warm weather and the deoxygenization of the water, the fish and sea life suffocating because there's not enough oxygen in the water. Some of it's because of red tide, where you have large amounts of algae that grow and then they're toxic to the other sea life. So anyway, like, you don't, like, let's pretend that's what I think it is. Let's pretend that that's the second angel sounding his trump. You don't have this where like it's the #1 news story and everybody knows it. You have to like the news is covering it, but it's like many different events across the entire world. And you have to kind of like search. You don't have to search very hard, but you do have to like do a search, and then you can put it all together and then step back and be like, holy cow, this is a lot of fish dying. And the same is true with everything else, like with the wildfires. You know, it's not like it all happens all at the same time. When it's talking about the earth being burnt up, a third part of the earth, the trees, all the green grass burning, you know, if this is how it's happening, it's not all happening all at the same time, but it is really dramatic. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes these fires make the top news story. They're on the front page. But it's when you step back and you collect all the data and put it together that you see that there's a pattern and that it all seems to be related to each other, you know, within a pretty narrow time frame. And when you look at the facts and you look at the records that are broken and you do the digging and the researching, then you realize, wow, this probably is the first angel sounding his trump. Again, I'm not going to be so audacious as to say that, you know, these are the signs associated with those angels. You know, I think that we need to watch. We need to watch these things. It's not wrong to watch and maybe guess, but I can't say for sure. But, you know, I think that those that have eyes to see and ears to hear, we see that all these things are happening. think about all the wars that have happened. Okay. Like the last days doesn't just pertain to us right now in 2021. And they don't just pertain to us here in the 21st century. The last days, started essentially with the first vision in Joseph Smith. And since that time, so much has happened in the world. America has had a civil war, a very, very, very bloody war. You had other wars going on in Europe, civil wars that have happened. We've had world wars that have happened, World War One and World War Two. And then we had a very scary Cold War where everyone thought that the world was going to end and there was a lot of fear. We had the development of nuclear weapons, right? And those weapons were actually used during World War II. We've had all sorts of natural disasters that have happened. And I'm not going to name all those, but you get the idea. Like, these are all things that haven't happened before. Yes, there's always been war, but world wars, no, there haven't been world wars before. There have been like sizable wars. I'm kind of good with history, but like the only wars I think that were really, really okay, no, I'm not going to even go there. So anyway, waiting for just like incredible, spectacular movie-like things to happen, I think that that's the wrong approach. I think that we need to be careful with our expectations for the scriptures, because just like he said, a lot of these things are going to happen naturally. Recently in the at the UK special devotional that they did, or like the state conference, whatever, where the three apostles visited the UK, Jeffrey R. Holland said that sometimes we're so close to history we don't even know that it's happening, right? Because when we're just in the moment, everything just feels kind of like it's normal. It's not until you step back and you look at the big picture, you look at history and you compare it to now, and you're like, whoa, this stuff hasn't happened before, or wow, a lot of this is going on right now compared to what's normal. So and so I just feel like there's so much that you can see that's happening just by doing a little bit of study, just doing a few Google searches, just using a little bit of critical thinking. You can see that the time that we're living in right now is not normal, and things seem to be hastening and getting quicker and more crazy, and the trends aren't very good. Things are just getting worse and worse in a lot of ways. But man, when you listen to the general authorities and the way that they're speaking, you can tell that something's up. And I think that they expect the second coming to be happening pretty soon. I really do. So I would just advise you, be careful with putting restrictions and stuff like that on the Lord based on your own interpretations of scripture, because we don't know with a lot of these things what it's actually going to look like or how it's actually going to play out. Some things are metaphorical, some things are literal, and it's hard to say when certain things have happened. Other things you can kind of put it together and be like, oh yeah, it looks like that's happening. It's also important, I think, to go back through general conference talks, like research different things. For example, our general authorities, I've done a video on it. Our general authorities have basically said that men's hearts are failing them right now. We can check that one off the list. In fact, that was number 9 on Dallin H. Oak's list in 2004. He said that was one of the signs of the times, that men's hearts would fail them. And then later on, we had President Nelson and others say that, yep, that's happening. That's happening. So if you were expecting like, I don't know, an alien invasion or scary things coming out of a pit, and then men watching it and then having heart attacks because they were so afraid, you're that would be kind of looking beyond the mark. It's a lot more subtle. There's a lot of distress in the world, and there's a lot of fear. Just look at what happened with the pandemic and how much fear there was, and that there still is, right? Look at the Cold War and how much fear there was back then. Think about fear. You know, there have been many people that do not have the gospel that have been afraid. Their hearts have failed them. Also, Jeffrey R. Holland, he talked about, you know, his interpretation of that being that if you think about the heart, metaphorically, it's the, you know, the center place of our, you know, our soul or whatever. It's where our principles lie. And so as we go into the last days, men's principles are failing them. They're losing their way. So that's like that was his spin on it. So, you know, we just got to be careful with how we think things are going to happen. And I don't think that we should say, oh no, this is definitely going to happen, and then this is definitely going to happen, and it has to be in this order. No, I would not put things in an order, because I don't think that we have the ability to really solidly say exactly how things are going to play out. I think it's okay to kind of map it out a little bit, but take it all with a grain of salt. It doesn't matter how good your research is. Take it with a grain of salt and just watch reality and watch what's actually happening. Okay, because if we don't, then you're probably going to miss things, because like I said, not everything is going to play out in a very big, obvious way. Right? So, and that's what I hope to accomplish with this channel, is just to like put some of these things together, see what we can find, see what things have maybe already happened, and just watch. That's all that we can really do. Just work on ourselves spiritually, make sure that we're keeping our covenants, making sure that we've received our ordinances, made covenants, keep them, be righteous, and be a Zion people, and then watch. That's all that we can do. And I think that's all that we're really expected to do. Well, and of course, part of that being gathering scattered Israel and all that stuff, doing family history work. So that's my thought for today. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video. If you liked it, hit the notification bell. Make sure to leave your comments. If you have any thoughts or anything that you'd like to share, put it in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys later.